Welcome back to Ezzy, your personal AI tutor for Class 11 English. Today we are spending an extended, unhurried episode on the CBSE Class 11 poem A Photograph by Shirley Toulson. This is a 30 to 60 minute revision conversation, so settle in comfortably. I am Gaurav, and with me is Swati. Keep a notebook nearby if you have one, but you can also simply listen and let the ideas settle. Once, Ria from Pune said she understood the photograph but not the sadness beneath it. We will solve exactly that. Together, we will examine the scene, time, memory loss, important expressions, questions, and exam tips.
And I am Swati. This poem looks small, but its emotional movement is very deep. We begin with a simple family photograph, move into the mother's laughter years later, and finally reach the poet's quiet grief after her mother's death. So do not rush to write only a summary. एक second pause करके सोचो, how can one photograph carry childhood, adulthood, memory, and loss at the same time? That is our central study question.
Here is our learning map. First, we will visualize what the cardboard photograph shows. Then we will understand the mother as a young girl, the role of the sea, and the meaning of transient human life. After that, we will follow the changing relationship between the mother's memory and the poet's memory. Finally, we will cover vocabulary, the three stanzas, the textbook questions, and answer writing points.
Keep one distinction in mind from the beginning. The photograph records a visible moment, that the poem is not merely describing a picture. It is exploring how people attach feelings to pictures. The same image first belongs to the mother's childhood, later becomes part of the mother's laughter, and finally becomes part of the poet's grief. तुम्हारा आंसर क्या आ रहा है? Which word best connects all three stages, memory, time, or loss?
The strongest answer is time, because time links memory and loss. The photograph preserves one moment, while the people in it continue to age and disappear. Memory allows the past to return, but time also makes that return painful. Loss is the final emotional result. In an examination answer, you can write that the poem presents time as a force that changes human life while preserving selected memories.
Let us enter the photograph. It is a cardboard photograph showing two girl cousins going paddling. Each cousin is holding one of the young mother's hands. The mother is described as the big girl, about 12 years old. All three girls stand still and smile through their hair at the uncle who is behind the camera. The scene is full of childhood innocence and simple happiness.
Notice how carefully the visual details are selected. We see the three girls, their joined hands, their hair, their smiles, and the uncle with the camera. The camera is not described as an object in isolation. It creates the moment being remembered. The mother's sweet face is especially important because it shows her before the poet was born, before she became the mother known to the poet.
That is a lovely point. The poet does not see only an old picture of an unknown child. She recognizes her mother in an earlier form. For the poet, the girl in the photograph is both familiar and distant. Familiar because she is her mother, distant because this moment existed before the poet's own birth. This double perspective gives the photograph emotional depth.
Now test your understanding. What exactly has the camera captured? It has captured the mother as a young girl of about 12, standing with her two cousins at the beach. The girls are smiling towards the uncle behind the camera. A complete answer should include the people, their activity, their age context, and the mood of the moment.
A common mistake is to write that the girls are playing in the sea. The poem says they went paddling, and the image focuses on them standing still for the photograph while the sea washed their feet. Also, do not forget the two cousins' names, Betty and Dolly, when the mother later remembers the picture. Small details make a short answer complete.
The phrase cardboard shows that this is a physical, ordinary photograph rather than a living scene. Cardboard suggests the material on which the image is mounted or printed. It also makes the photograph feel old and tangible. The poet is looking at a fixed object that has survived across time, even though the human beings within it have changed.
So, if the question asks why the word cardboard has been used, do not answer only that it is the photograph's material. Add its emotional effect. The word draws attention to the photograph as an old, still object carrying a past moment. It reminds us that the image remains, while the people and the circumstances represented in it are temporary.
The next important image is the sea. The sea appears to have changed less than the people in the photograph. This contrast is central. The girl's childhood has passed, the mother has grown older, and the poet has eventually lost her mother. Yet the sea seems almost continuous. It becomes a symbol of permanence when placed beside the temporary nature of human life.
Let me challenge that slightly. We should not say that the sea is literally eternal, because the poem does not make a scientific claim about it. The safe interpretation is that the sea appears to have changed less. In the poem's emotional comparison, it seems more stable than human beings. That apparent stability makes human life look especially brief and fragile.
Exactly. The sea washed the girl's terribly transient feet. Transient means temporary, short lived, or passing. The feet are transient not because feet disappear immediately, but because the human lives and moments represented by them are temporary. This is an example of a physical image carrying an abstract idea. The water touches the feet while the poem makes us think about mortality.
एक second pause करके सोचो. If the sea represents what appears to remain, what do the feet represent? They represent human presence in a particular moment. The girls are standing there, but the moment is already moving away from them. The water touching their feet quietly suggests that life is always passing, even when a photograph makes an instant look still.
The poem then jumps forward by some 20 or 30 years. This is not a random time reference. It shows a large gap between the photograph and the mother's later response to it. The girl has become an adult and a mother. When she looks at the snapshot, she can see her own childhood from the distance of many years.
And what does the mother do when she sees it? She laughs. She points out Betty and Dolly and comments on how they were dressed for the beach. The laughter is light on the surface. It shows amusement about the old clothes and the childhood situation. But the poem makes us look beyond that surface reaction to the sadness hidden inside remembrance.
The mother's laughter indicates affectionate nostalgia. She is able to look back at her childhood with warmth and humor. Her comment about how they were dressed makes the memory ordinary and personal. It is not a grand historical event, it is a family memory made meaningful by love, time, and the later knowledge that childhood cannot be recovered.
But here is the subtle shift. The sea holiday was the mother's past, while the mother's laughter became the poet's past. The mother remembered the beach scene directly. The poet remembered her mother laughing at that scene. So the memory passes from one generation to another, but it changes form. One person remembers the holiday, the other remembers the act of remembering.
This is one of the most important lines to understand. The poet's memory is not of standing at the beach with Betty and Dolly. She was not yet born. Her memory is of her mother looking at the photograph and laughing. That difference explains why the poem is not simply a description of a beach holiday. It is a poem about inherited memory and emotional distance.
Let us ask a likely examination question. Why does the poet say that the sea holiday was her mother's past and the laughter was hers? The answer is that the mother personally experienced the beach holiday, but the poet personally experienced her mother's later laughter. The two women are connected through the photograph, yet each belongs to a different stage of the memory.
Now we reach the expression labored ease of loss. It sounds almost contradictory. Ease suggests something natural or effortless, while labored suggests difficulty and effort. The expression shows that both the mother's laughter and the poet's response carry loss beneath them. They can laugh or speak about the past, but that apparent ease has been achieved through emotional effort.
Yes, and rye is also important. Rye can suggest a dry, slightly ironic, or bittersweet quality. The mother laughs at the old clothes, but the reader knows that the scene belongs to a past that cannot return. The poet later remembers that laughter after the mother has died. Therefore, the humor is real, but it is accompanied by pain.
Students often make one mistake here. They write that the mother is laughing because she is completely happy. That is incomplete. She is amused, but the poem's larger context makes the memory bittersweet. A stronger answer says that the laughter reflects affectionate nostalgia, while also suggesting the distance created by time and the eventual pain of loss.
अब तक हम फर्स्ट मेजर आइडिया कवर कर चुके हैं. The photograph preserves the mother's childhood, but the poem keeps moving through different owners of memory. Let us check ourselves. Who owns the first memory? Who owns the second? And who is absent from the original beach scene? The mother owns the beach memory. The poet owns the memory of the laughter. And the poet is absent because she was not yet born.
The final movement begins with the mother's death. The poet says that the mother has been dead nearly as many years as the girl in the photograph lived. This creates a striking comparison between the duration of the girl's life up to the photograph and the duration of the other's absence. Time measures both life and loss.
This comparison is poignant because the girl in the photograph is only about 12, while the mother has already been absent for nearly that length of time. The poet is not giving us a complete biography. She is showing how strangely time can connect an early image with a later absence. The photograph and the death are joined by a measured passage of years.
The question asks what this circumstance refers to. It refers to the mother having been dead for nearly as many years as the girl in the photograph had lived up to that moment. It does not refer only to the photograph, the sea, or the mother's laughter. In an answer, state the comparison clearly before explaining its emotional effect.
And then comes the remarkable statement that there is nothing to say at all. This does not mean the poet has no feelings. It means the grief has reached a depth where ordinary speech seems inadequate. The final silence is not empty. It contains love, memory, helplessness, and the awareness that the mother cannot return.
That is why the final idea is so powerful. Silence silences. The poet's silence becomes part of the poem's meaning. The absence of words reflects the finality of death. Earlier, the poem contains smiles and laughter. At the end, language falls away. The emotional journey moves from a visible image to spoken recollection, and finally to wordless grief.
Let me ask something difficult. Is the poem only sad? I would say no, because the photograph first gives us innocence and joy, and the mother's laughter brings warmth. The sadness develops as we understand that the joy belongs to a vanished past. So the poem is bittersweet. It does not reject happiness. It shows how happiness can become painful when remembered after loss.
I agree with one clarification. The poem does not describe the mother's death in detail. The poet mentions it briefly and then concentrates on the silence that follows. Therefore, an answer should not invent a dramatic scene or a long account of mourning. The strength of the poem lies in restraint. Its few words suggest a very large emotional experience.
That restraint is also an exam point. When you explain the ending, use words such as finality, absence, grief, silence, memory, and emotional inadequacy. Do not turn the answer into a general paragraph about death. Keep returning to the photograph and the poet's relationship with her mother. The answer must remain attached to the poem's specific movement.
Let us work with the word paddling. In this context, it refers to moving or playing in shallow water with the girls at the beach. The word helps create a gentle, youthful scene. It is not the same as swimming in deep water. Context matters. So when the textbook asks you to infer a meaning, connect the word to the action and setting around it.
Transient is the second important word. It means temporary or short lived. The poem uses it for the girl's feet being washed by the sea, but its meaning extends to human life and experience. A photograph can make a moment appear permanent, yet the people in that moment are transient. That contrast is one of the poem's most important ideas.
The face smile through their hair gives us a vivid visual image. The girl's hair partly falls or blows across their faces, yet they continue smiling towards the camera. This detail makes the photograph feel natural rather than perfectly arranged. It also contributes to the innocence and liveliness of the beach scene.
Would you call that a major metaphor? I would be careful. The phrase mainly creates a visual picture. The strongest symbolic comparison in the poem is between the apparently unchanged sea and transient human life. In an exam, do not label every attractive phrase as a metaphor. First, explain what the words show and then identify a poetic effect only when it is clearly supported.
Another useful expression is sweet face. It conveys the mother's youthful beauty and tenderness in the photograph. The poet sees the face with affection, but she also recognizes that this is a version of a mother from before her own birth. The adjective sweet therefore carries both visual description and emotional attachment.
Here is a quick vocabulary check. If I say the mother's laughter is wry, should you write cheerful, bitter, or bittersweet? The safest answer is bittersweet with a dry or slightly ironic quality. The word does not remove the humor. It tells us that the humor exists alongside the awareness of time and loss.
Now connect the important expressions. Cardboard presents the photograph as an old physical object. Paddling places us in the beach scene. Transient points towards temporary human life. Rai describes the complicated quality of laughter. Labored ease shows the effort behind an apparently calm response. Silence expresses the final inability to speak. Together, these words build the poem's emotional architecture.
We are entering the poem's structural center now. The three stanzas depict three different phases. The first phase is the childhood scene preserved in the photograph. The second phase is the mother's later recollection and laughter about that photograph. The third phase is the poet's present reflection after the mother's death. The structure itself mirrors the movement of time.
In the first stanza, the poet looks at the image and reconstructs the beach moment. The girls are young, together, and smiling. The mother exists here as a child rather than as the poet's parent. The sea introduces the first suggestion of change because it appears less changed than the human figures whose lives have moved forward.
In the second stanza, time has passed by some 20 or 30 years. The mother sees the snapshot and laughs at the way Betty and Dolly were dressed. The poet then explains that the sea holiday belonged to her mother's past, while her mother's laughter became the poet's past. This stanza is about memory being shared, transferred, and emotionally transformed.
The third stanza moves to the mother's death and the years of absence afterwards. The numerical comparison with the girl's age makes time feel almost circular. But the emotional result is not a return. The poet cannot recover the mother. The stanza ends with silence, showing that some grief cannot be fully expressed through explanation.
Notice the change in emotional sound. The first phase has smiles and the movement of paddling. The second has laughter and a light comment about clothes, but also a wry quality. The third has no spoken response at all. Joy, recollection, and silence are not separate from one another. Each later phase changes the meaning of the earlier one.
That is an excellent way to read the poem. The photograph begins as evidence of a happy day. After the mother's death, it becomes evidence of what has been lost. The image itself does not change, but its emotional meaning changes for the poet. This is why the poem is about memory as much as it is about a photograph.
If you were asked to give the central theme in one sentence, what would you say? I would say that a photograph explores how time preserves memories while making human relationships vulnerable to change, aging, and death. Is that too broad? Perhaps we should add the emotional tone. The poem presents this experience as bittersweet rather than simply tragic.
Yes, add bittersweet. A high quality theme answer should mention memory, the passage of time, the temporary nature of human life, and the pain of losing a loved one. It should also show that the photograph preserves a moment of joy. Avoid writing only that the poem's about an old photograph. That identifies the object, not the poem's deeper meaning.
Let us begin the textbook questions. What has not changed over the years? The poem says the sea appears to have changed less. The answer should then explain the suggestion. The sea's apparent continuity contrasts with the changing and temporary nature of human life. Do not stop after writing the sea. The question asks what this contrast suggests.
Now, what did the mother's laugh indicate? It indicated her affectionate nostalgia and amusement at the old photograph, especially the way the girls had been dressed for the beach. At the same time, the laugh carries an awareness of the distance between that childhood moment and the present. The answer should hold both meanings together, light-hearted remembrance and underlying sadness.
What does labored ease of loss mean? एक second pause करके सोचो before listening. It suggests that the mother and the poet appear able to laugh or remember calmly. But this calmness requires emotional effort because both are connected with loss. The phrase captures the complicated way people may continue speaking about a loved past even when that past is painful.
What does this circumstance refer to? It refers to the fact that the mother has been dead for nearly as many years as the girl in the photograph had lived. This time comparison makes the poet confront both the mother's brief childhood image and the long period of her absence. Write the reference first, then explain why it intensifies the sense of loss.
And why does the poem end with silence? The poet says there is nothing to say, and that silence silences. This suggests that the mother's death has created a grief beyond ordinary speech. The ending is powerful because it does not over explain. The absence of words becomes a form of expression, communicating finality and emotional emptiness.
A likely short answer prompt may ask you to explain the three stanzas. Your answer can be organized clearly. First, the poet describes the mother's childhood photograph. Second, the mother remembers that photograph and laughs years later. Third, the poet reflects on the mother's death and the silence of loss. This simple structure is reliable and directly supported by the poem.
Here is a deeper question. Why is the mother's face called sweet? It reflects her youthful beauty, innocence, and the poet's affection. The word also makes the past emotionally attractive. Yet the sweetness is not untouched by sadness because the poet is viewing this young face after the mother is gone. The description therefore combines beauty with the knowledge of loss.
From an exam point of view, begin every answer by locating the idea in the poem. For example, when discussing the sea, mention the beach photograph first. When discussing laughter, mention the mother looking at the snapshot. When discussing silence, mention the mother's death. This prevents vague answers and shows that your interpretation grows from textual evidence.
A useful four-part answer frame is this. Identify the image, explain the literal meaning, interpret the emotional meaning, and connect it to the central theme. For the sea, identify the sea washing the girl's feet, explain its apparent lack of change, interpret the contrast with transient human life, and connect it to time and mortality. This gives your answer depth without unnecessary length.
The poem may commonly be tested through questions asking you to explain a phrase, compare the three phrases, identify what the sea suggests, or justify the title. If the title is asked, say that the photograph is a central object through which the poet explores childhood, memory, time, and loss. The title is simple, but the photograph becomes a doorway into complex emotions.
One common mistake is to treat the poem as a happy childhood poem only. Another is to treat it as an entirely dark poem about death. Both readings are incomplete. The poem begins with innocence, includes affectionate humor, and ends in grief. Its power comes from the movement between these emotions and from the way each stage changes our understanding of the earlier stage.
At this point, after our mini recap, you could use Etsy for one exact doubt rather than searching through a long explanation. Ask why the mother's laughter is called Rai, or ask for a step-by-step answer plan on the three stanzas. The useful habit is to ask a precise question, attempt your own answer, and then check what idea is missing.
Yes. And do not simply copy the first answer you see. Try active recall. Close your book and explain the poem aloud as if you were teaching a friend. If you can explain why the sea matters, why the mother laughs, and why the ending becomes silent, you are moving towards understanding rather than memorization. That is the kind of revision that stays with you.
Let us now collect the central ideas. The cardboard photograph preserves a beach moment from the mother's childhood. She is about 12 and is with Betty and Dolly. The girls smile towards the uncle with the camera. The mother's sweet face represents a past before the poet was born. The sea appears less changed, contrasting with temporary human life.
Then, after some 20 or 30 years, the mother laughs at the snapshot and comments on the girl's beach clothes. That holiday belongs to her past. The mother's laughter belongs to the poet's past. Both are right because both memories contain the effort of living with loss. The poem does not separate joy and sadness neatly, it allows them to exist together.
Finally, the mother has been dead nearly as many years as the girl in the photograph lived. The poet finds nothing to say about this circumstance. The ending silence expresses the depth and finality of grief. If you remember only one overall movement, remember this. A still photograph opens into childhood, passes through memory, and ends in silence after loss.
Quick recall round. Who are Betty and Dolly? They are the mother's cousins in the photograph. What does paddling mean here? Moving or playing in shallow water. What does transient mean? Temporary or short lived. What does the sea suggest? Apparent continuity in contrast with human change. What does the final silence suggest? Grief beyond adequate speech.
Your final challenge is to write a 5 sentence answer without looking at your notes. Explain how the photograph connects the mother's childhood with the poet's grief. Include the sea, the mother's laughter, the phrase labored ease of loss, and the final silence. Keep each sentence focused. After writing, underline the words that show time and the words that show emotion.
Before you finish, check your answer for one important balance. Did you mention the happiness in the photograph? Or did you write only about death? Did you explain the mother's laughter? Or did you call it simple happiness? Did you state what the circumstance means? This small self check can improve an answer more than adding decorative words.
Let us close with the most important takeaway. A photograph is about more than an old picture. It is about how time changes people, how memory preserves moments, and how love can make loss both gentle and painful. Remember the 3 phases: the mother's childhood, the mother's later laughter, and the poet's silence after her death. The common mistake to avoid is calling the poem purely happy or purely sad. Your next step is to write the 5 sentence challenge and explain it aloud once.
And if one exact doubt remains, use Etsy to question it step by step. Or teach the idea to a friend and ask them to challenge your explanation. You do not need to memorize every sentence of the poem to understand it. Hold on to the image, the changing memories, the transient nature of life, and the final silence. You have revised a photograph thoughtfully today. Keep going calmly, and we will meet again in your next Etsy revision session.